on Christmas of 2022, I saw a jaw harp performance by Olena Utai on YouTube, and I became quite enamored with jaw harps. And being a creative person, I decided to try and make my own. I didn't know where to buy them at first, so I make so many other things myself. So anyway, so this is a little discussion of my journey. So I don't have my very first model here. The startling thing about the jaw harps is that it is not the instrument that does everything. It's the user of the instrument. So I'll see if I can demonstrate. So this is one of the early plastic ones I made. And with what I knew about it then, I was doing this. But I did a lot of investigation and I found out several things. So one of them that makes a big difference is that you can make the vowel shapes of your mouth, and that affects the resonant cavity that the diaphragm is interacting with. So let me give you an example. A, E, I, O, and U. A, E, I, O, U. And now I'll just do it independently of that. Probably to demonstrate, better to have a louder one. So I'll go with a slightly newer variant. But it was actually for not the longest. It was quite a while before I discovered, in watching people playing on the metal ones, that there is a very essential part of the technique. Except with certain jaw harps, which were played the way I was, jaw harps should be played by bracing the body of the jaw harp against the teeth. So listen to the difference first without, and then with against the teeth. Now I'll take a shortcut here and go to the best one I made. So this is a metal one made of aluminium body and with a twanger made of saw blade. So have a listen to this one first without, and now against the teeth. Big difference. So this has it when it comes to volume and also sustain. I'll come back to that. So I made a large number of these. Most of them I've given away now. Those were made out of plastic called PLA, or polylactic acetate, I think it is. These are made of PETG, but I only did smaller ones of them. But you might be interested in the spring. So let me show it in profile here. So I came up with that after some thought as being a way to extend the springiness of the plastic over a larger area. And you'll see that on all of these, I've placed a pendulum or weighted area, and that gives some sustain. But being plastic, the plastic eats up a lot of the energy that we put into them. So at some stage, I bought a metal laser, maybe a month or a couple of months into 2023. And when I got my metal laser, my ambition with that was to be able to create custom reeds. So I had the idea that people who wear earrings could potentially stash one under each ear. So they work. They're not loud. With a microphone, the utility would be significantly enhanced. I experimented with many different shapes. And as you might guess, the longer they are, typically the deeper the tone. And the shorter they are, here's a little tiny one, the higher pitch the tone. Some of them don't work because my clearances were on. Now, here's where I'll just mention an interesting thing with jaw harps. If there is a bias on the reed or the twanger, as some people call it, see this one is biased here, then it can sustain a note simply by blowing on it. So here we go. Again, this one is a bias. But some are more effective than others. So this one is a reverse bias. So by sucking, it should sustain. So without sucking, and now a little bit of negative bias on my breath. But these are all very sensitive due to the thinness of them. I think I made them in 0.1 or 0.2 millimeters thick. So let me take that, flip it. So this comes up lining up with the under 2, that's a 0.2 on the scale, old style vernier, which never runs out of batteries. So I carried on experimenting and came up with here's one of the early designs, this design. And you'll see it's got a hole on each side. And this is because I spotted one on YouTube, which was a jaw harp, which was being shared by two people, by a couple. And I thought kind of cool to have two resonant cavities on two friendly people. But this is an early one. Twanger seems okay. It's got a fair bit of clearance on the twanger. I'll just show you that. So this is on the lips. And this is on the teeth. And I can't bite it too hard because I'll squeeze that cavity against the twanger. And I made a large number of those. because I felt that they were quite successful. This one's got a dab of solder on one end to lower the pitch. Again, you can tell it's got a bias on it because I can sustain it just by breathing. Higher pitch one. Here's one with a very short twanger. But you can hear some resonance on there. And this is one of the problems I had with the plastic, is that it's a pressure fit inside, and I can glue them, but I have to be very careful for the glue not to go too far. So you can see here. So let's take one of the newer designs that I had. So I did this here with the holes along there with the idea that I could dribble glue in there to seal in the twangers. So you see that one there. Oh no, I haven't used the glue yet. So that's got quite a bit of volume to it. And again, I have to be very, very careful not to bite down. So I'm going to show the clearance here. So and that's the great thing about laser cutting through thin metal, is you can have quite good control of the clearance, although it still requires setup time. So because it's a fairly snug fit, I'm going to swap that out, and this one will be hard to hear over the video, but I'll give it a try. So this is my longest twanger. And have a look at how much that affects it. So we have issues here that when I operate this, it touches on the sides, so it doesn't have full motion of that compared with the smaller ones, but that motion is still significant. It's just relative to that, it's less. Now, there's another thing I found out that you can do, and it's weird, but let me show you anyway. So these were actually used, and I think it's Bugs Bunny. There's a particular wah 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 wah. I think it's that, but might be misremembering. There's sort of a boing boing effect on Bugs Bunny, which draw harps were used for. Anyway, that can conclude it for now. I'm waiting on a jaw harp from Vlad from Ukraine. Very interested to see how it's going to play.